Welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host, Owen Russell. We begin tonight's episode with our Super Sports segment. Caitlin Clark has been making headlines during her college basketball career, breaking records left and right. Well, she can add another one to her resume, the most watched women's college basketball game. The Iowa versus LSU game in the Elite Eight of the March Madness tournament averaged 12.3 million viewers, making it one of the most viewed games in any sport besides NFL football in the past year. Iowa won the game 94-87, with Clark scoring 41 points, securing Iowa's spot in the Final Four. Caitlin Clark's standout career has been attracting new viewers and fans of the sport, and the viewership numbers are reflective of that. A car listed in Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice's name was involved in a 6-car crash on Sunday evening in Dallas, Texas. The crash occurred when a Corvette driver and Lamborghini driver were speeding in the far left lane and both lost control, crashing into the sedan, causing a chain reaction involving 4 other vehicles. Minor injuries were reported from the accident of the 4 other vehicles, yet the driver of the Corvette and Lamborghini fled the scene. It is unknown if Rice was at the scene of the accident, yet the police call sheet indicate he might have been the driver of the Corvette. According to Rice's lawyers, quote, Rashee is still cooperating with local authorities and will take all the necessary steps to address this situation responsibly, end quote. The Premier League title race is just around the corner, with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City all within a 3-point margin at the top of the league. Many predictions are coming in with Manchester City to win the Premier League, despite it being at the bottom of the top 3 teams. Arsenal is the most consistent team out of the 3, yet lacking a goal-scoring striker that has cost them, or even resulted in a 0-0 game against Manchester at the end of March. In the Zone, we'll be closely following the Premier League to see who will take the title, and I will be rooting for my Wolverhampton Wanderers. On April 1st, Astros pitcher Ronel Blanco shocked the world as he threw the first no-hitter of the 2024 season against the Toronto Blue Jays. The 30-year-old earned his spot in the Astros rotation due to injuries to multiple key starters, including Justin Verlander and Luis Garcia. And in his 8th career start, Blanco proved to be too much for the Blue Jays, allowing just 2 walks and throwing 105 pitches. This was the first no-hitter since Michael Lorenzen threw one for the Phillies on August 9th, 2023, and is the earliest one that has happened in MLB history. Now, let's get into some discussion. With the Final Four being set, the MLB season starting up, and Wrestlemania 41 this weekend, we have a lot to talk about. In the Zone starts now. I'm now joined by Brad Wood and Aaron Chun. Starting out with the main event in sports right now, March Madness. On the men's side of things, we are now down to the final 4 teams. Between these 2 matchups, there is a lot to anticipate, as well as scarily good underdogs to keep an eye on. The first matchup has Alabama facing UConn in a game that the Huskies are heavily favored in. While UConn being there is no surprise, all eyes are on Alabama to see if they can potentially upset the dominant 1 seed on the other side. Brad, how do you see this game going? Does Alabama have any chance?
You know, I think they have a good chance. I'm very surprised. Yeah, I'm very surprised how far Alabama went through all the way to the Final Four. And I had them out early in the second round, but, you know, they're exceeding expectations. So I don't want to go on the bandwagon. On my bracket, I still have UConn winning it. But this matchup, whoever wins, I think will win it all.
I agree with you. I was really surprised to see Alabama get to this point. I had them beating Charleston in the first round, but after that didn't really have them going anywhere. Aaron, did you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I didn't see them going that far, but I mean, at this point, I think they've got momentum on their side. I mean, they've surprised everyone just by being here in the Final Four, and I think winning this game, I think that's enough, like Brad said, to win it all.
Brad, do you think Dan Hurley's coaching is going to affect this game at all? Because he has the experience over Nate Oates. I think he's going to be the one that ultimately leads them over the Crimson Tide at the end of it.
You know, I feel like that would have a good factor on it. Not to mention UConn won like last year as well. I had them winning it, and I was proud. But I think he does have a slight edge. But the thing is, like Aaron said, Alabama has the momentum against them. It's going to be very hard. I think it's going to be very close and honestly a fun match to watch. So
it's going to be good. I have to agree with you on that one. Aaron, I have to ask the same question, man. What do you think this coaching is going to be like?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to echo the same points. I mean, I think even though Alabama does have a lot of the momentum right now, that might be enough to carry them. UConn is still that's a brick wall that you're trying to run through right now.
Yeah,
so
no matter how you spin it, it's going to be tough to get through, and I think it's going to be a good match for UConn and Alabama at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I agree.
Well, the other men's matchup includes 11th-seeded North Carolina State going up against Purdue. While this matchup is more even than it seems on paper, Purdue is still the favorite going into Saturday's game. As opposed to previous years, the Boilermakers haven't choked yet, and fans are just waiting for it to happen. But with Zach Edey leading the charge, though, who knows when that will actually happen? What can we expect from this matchup, Aaron? Is Purdue a lock?
Gosh, I mean, I still think, I know everyone's waiting for them to choke, but is this their year? I still feel like right now it might be. I still feel like they've got a good chance to make it to the finals. Now, will they choke in the finals? We'll see what happens. But I think right now where they are, they've got a good chance to finally kind of break that spell around them.
Absolutely. Brad, what do you think about this?
Going to go against you, I have NC State over Purdue. Ooh. I have Purdue choking in the second round, right? Obviously, the first team, they're not going to lose to 16, 15. But here's the thing. NC State beat good teams like Duke, for example, and in convincing fashion. I think people are underrating NC State. I think I have them going on to the finals, but not going to win now.
See, here's the thing I have to say about the whole thing. I had Tennessee winning the tournament in my bracket, and what I saw happen was Tennessee beat Purdue, but they didn't beat Zach Edey. Zach Edey had 40 points. He had like 26 rebounds. I feel if North Carolina State wants any chance of winning this game, they're going to have to rely on their big men. They're going to have to get DJ Burns involved in it. They're going to have to stop Zach Edey because he is a wall.
But I think NC State has the big man to really stop him, at least contain him. I think he's still going to go off. I don't think it'll be Caitlin Clark type levels, but I think he'll still be the best player. But
NC State has the grit too. They have that hustle. They've got that. I feel like they've got that desire. They've gotten this far. They fought for this position. They fought to win their tournament, and now they're 2 games away from the biggest prize. I think that's.
I mean, yeah, as long as you can hold Edey down enough to give yourself a fighting chance, I think the rest of those guys against Purdue, that's going to be a matchup that they like a lot, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And I think that's going to be a matchup a lot of fans like for sure on NC State's side.
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't think this matchup is Purdue's to lose per se. I don't think they're going to choke, but I think it's just going to be another close game. I don't know. This year, there's a certain different vibe to March Madness. And the matchups are better, the games are better. So
I have to agree with you there. Yeah. Real quick before we end this segment, guys, who do you have in the finals? Who do you got winning?
I think I'm going to go Alabama versus Purdue. Okay. I'm going to say Purdue wins it.
All right.
Complete opposite, UConn, NC State, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a blow. I think UConn's going to be NC State. That's where the run ends right there.
I've got the best of both worlds here. I've got UConn, Purdue. I've got the heavyweight showdown. I feel, and at the end of the day, I think Purdue's got it. I think Zach Edey's bringing home that title.
Wow.
I'm excited. We'll be keeping track of that here at In the Zone, guys.
William's excited too. You see that?
Well, on the other side of March Madness, the women's tournament has been one of the most entertaining tournaments in recent history. Caitlin Clark is cementing herself as the greatest college basketball player ever. LSU has officially been denied the possibility of back-to-back championships, and South Carolina has continued its undefeated season. The first Final Four matchup includes the undefeated South Carolina squad as they face NC State. Brad, who do you like in this matchup? Is this the end of South Carolina's dominant season here?
No, I don't think so. I think with this tournament, heavyweights is going to prevail. I think it's going to be Iowa and them. But, South Carolina's been absolutely dominant. Absolutely crazy. How can he be undefeated even if he sees it and going to a tournament? March Madness is a very hard tournament to even say that. We see like second, third, fourth seeds lose in the first round. So I think it's just going to be a good matchup either way, but I think South Carolina is still going to go to the finals.
I really think South Carolina, in terms of women's basketball, they have that pedigree. They've got that tradition of winning that on their side that I think is going to get them over NC State. NC State is in the same kind of situation, I feel, as their male counterparts, but I feel like they're kind of both of them out of nowhere, honestly. Aaron, what do you think about this?
I mean, I think it's going to be really hard to stop South Carolina. And I think, I don't know, I might be a little bit more out of touch with the women's side of the bracket, but it seems like more of the women's basketball team powerhouses have made it deeper compared to the first round of like March Madness going on, men's tournament. 30 minutes later, people are saying, yeah, there goes my bracket.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you've seen a little bit more of what you expect in the women's side from those heavyweight teams making it this far.
Absolutely. It's going to be hard to stop South Carolina center. Camille Cardoso, I think her name is. I'm pretty sure. She is, honestly, she brings the fight, honestly. She is one of those players that a franchise changer on the WNBA.
I mean, one word to describe her: dominating. Definitely going to be a future WNBA type player. There's just a lot of good players besides Caitlin Clark that not a lot of people talk about. And I feel like this will help not just women's college basketball, but like the WNBA. I like watching the games, right? But seeing the social aspect of people's change their opinions on women's sport, it's very encouraging to see.
That's been the best.
I've seen that happen too, and that's honestly one of the most positive things that's come out of it, besides from good basketball, because that is what we're all focused on. Speaking of good basketball, the other women's Final Four game is already one for the books, as Payje Beckers and the UConn Huskies take on Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawks. Nobody can predict who will win between these two teams, as both have shown signs of dominance that is rarely seen in college basketball. That being said, who do you think ends up on top, Aaron?
I still got to give it to Iowa, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Caitlin Clark is about as unstoppable as it gets. I mean, I'm sorry, like, no disrespect to anyone else in this tournament. I think she has become the face of women's basketball unanimously, and for good reason, too. So, does anyone unseat her? I don't know. This might be the best chance to do it, but I think you're going to be really hard-pressed to.
Following up on that, I think if there's anybody that's going to do it, it's Payje Beckers, because she was the 2020 class's top recruit over Caitlin Clark, over Angel Reese, over all these other players. And people forget that because she tore her ACL or she blew out her knee or something. Some injury happened, I can't remember. But the talent, the matchup here, it's two superstars. This is heavyweights going up against each other.
This is what you want to see.
Absolutely. Brad, what do you think about this?
Here's the thing. Iowa took down LSU, and overall, I think LSU has a really strong team. I'm a little surprised. I didn't have Iowa as fun, but it's extremely hard to stop Caitlin Clark. Over 40 points in a college basketball game, that's absurd. That is some video game numbers. How can you stop that? There are superstars, but then there's Caitlin Clark. I think they just have the edge right there. It's a popular pick, but I have to go Iowa over UConn.
Absolutely. Before we wrap this up, guys, same thing for the men's, we got for the women's. Who do you have in the finals, and what's the final result here?
I'm going to go Iowa, SC State, and I'm going to say Iowa wins it.
Okay. I like it.
You know, I have to agree, but I have NC State actually going over Iowa.
Ooh.
I could see that.
I know, but I feel like it'd be a little bit disappointing for Iowa. I feel like a lot of people are rooting for Iowa because of Caitlin Clark. So
I'm one of those people, honestly. I'm rooting for Iowa. I love Caitlin Clark. I think it's going to be Iowa versus South Carolina in these finals, and I think it's going to be Iowa.
Yeah, real quick, before we wrap things up, I wanted to point something out because I really wanted to talk about this. This was way back in the early rounds when Iowa was playing against Holy Cross, I think. Caitlin Clark, she was being guarded by another girl during the game. Her name was Caitlin Flanagan. I went to high school with her, dude. That was crazy.
Hey.
Really?
She graduated
That's awesome.
like the year before me. That was like, wow, that was crazy seeing that.
That's 6 degrees of separation right there. That's insane.
I know. So you're in the presence of a celebrity, kind of. Sort of, in a really loose way.
Well, congratulations to your high school classmate. Talking about more local things here, we're now going to send it over to Payje Davis for the latest in Marauder Athletics. Payje?
Thanks, Owen. Yet again, Millersville baseball dominated once more, completing a 4-game series sweep against Lock Haven on Saturday. Pitchers Alex Mycutt and Connor Cook had brilliant games, helping Millersville win the game 14-0 and Game 2 by a score of 3-1. In softball, the Marauders swept Lock Haven on Friday, but were beaten by Shippensburg Saturday. The track and field season got started Friday, and Millersville's own Darian Hoff finished first place in the pole vault. Millersville competed against athletes from 31 other programs and came away with 13 top 5 finishes. In golf, the men and women competed in the Dr. Edwin B. Cortell Invitational and thought it was cut short because of the rain. Still, freshman Timothy Peters had a strong performance for the men and was named the PSAC's Men Golfer of the Week for the second time in his career. Now, let's send it back over to Owen and company to talk about the start of the MLB season. Take it away, Owen.
Thanks, Paige. Well, the MLB season is officially underway, and while it's too early to really make any judgments about these teams, we certainly can try. In the American League, the Yankees have gotten off to a solid start this year, as Juan Soto really looks at home in this lineup. The Tigers have also been sneakily good, starting the year 4-0. One team to watch out for are the Astros, who have been off to a brutal 1-5 start, with Josh Hader giving some early reasons for concerns with his performance. Brad, what teams are you liking so far, and what teams are you concerned about?
You know, I'm a big Yankees fan, so the vibes are different. Juan Soto looks good in the pinstripes. Naturally looks good in the pinstripes. But what team is better, though? I think it will be a better year. It's going to be the O's. Ain't no way. Here's the thing. Overall, top to bottom, the O's have a better lineup with one of the best farm systems in the league. I would keep an eye on them. I think they'll go far. I think they're going to win the division. But we have the Yankees, Texas Rangers. Can't go wrong. I think they're going to go far, if I'm being honest. Good signings. Again, what's his name? Crawford, who got called up. He's probably going to be a stud. He's probably going to win the Rookie of the Year, if I'm being honest, in the AL.
So. Oh, yeah, Langford. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Langford, my apologies. But anyway, though.
I hope he's not watching this.
That would be tragic.
He's currently crying. But anyway, I don't know. That's the teams I'm looking for. I'm looking at the Yankees. I'm looking at the Rangers. I'm looking at the O's. I think those are going to be the real powerhouses in the AL.
Absolutely.
And they could possibly go far.
I agree. Aaron?
I'm glad we're seeing the Yankees do well because this is a team that I said the Phillies were going to beat in the World Series in 6. So to see that they're off to a good start, it's looking good for me predictions-wise. But otherwise, I mean, I got to say, the Royals are still a team that's interested me from the moves they've made in the offseason. How much it's going to pay off for them, I'm not really sure. But because they got to make at least a 30-win improvement from last year, and that's huge to ask of someone.
But they do have Bobby Witt Jr.
They do have Bobby Witt.
And they do also have Aroldis Chapman, I think it is.
He's on the Pirates now.
Who am I thinking of?
Cole Reagans, maybe?
Maybe. I think that's it.
Yeah.
But they do have some powerhouse hitters.
They do have some good bats. They do have some good.
But honestly, guys, they have to compete with the Cleveland Guardians. And that's going to be really hard since they got off to a pretty impressive 3-2 start. And they're on the road to 159-3. I don't mean to brag or anything, but
they opened the season against a AAA team.
That's true.
So,
don't insult the Las Vegas Athletics like that. I'm sorry, Oakland.
I mean, I feel bad for them because the players are in a tough spot. The poor manager's in a tough spot. He's got to answer to all the questions of the higher-ups.
Oh, yeah.
They demoted Esteury Ruiz, and he had to answer to that. I mean,
absolutely.
It's tough.
Who do we think's coming out of the AL? Or way too early prediction here?
Way too early. I still think it's going to be, I think your division leaders, I'm going to say the Yankees are still going to win the division. I think they've got good veterans there, and Garrett Cole's going to be back eventually. So I'm going to say Yankees there. I'm going to say Detroit out of the American League. I think, or the Central.
Okay.
The Central's not that strong, and I think they've got the great young talent to be able to surprise teams. The West, I think it's going to be the Rangers.
Oh yeah, don't mess with Texas. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying for the whole AL this year. I think they've got it again.
Wild card, I think it's going to be Astros. We're going to look at the Astros, Orioles, and I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to say the Mariners.
Oh, I like it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Fair picks, but I have the O's in the division over the Yankees, though. I think it's going to be close, but I think the O's overall got. The Yankees will take the wild card. Out of the Central, I'm taking the Guardians. I pray they have a good bounce back here because I really like their lineup, at least the top half. Yeah. And out of the West, though, I think I have the Rangers. So I think the Rangers are going to really surprise. I think people expected a little down off, but no, I think they're going to get better. So that's what I got. And I think for at least coming out of the AL, it'll be the Rangers. They're going to go back to the World Series.
I like it. Yeah. Well, on the National League side of things, guys, the Dodgers have been playing well, as expected. What's been less expected, however, is the Pirates' 5-0 start to the season, with everything seeming to click perfectly for them. Some teams, like the Phillies and Padres, are still shaking off some of that early season rust, and the poor Miami Marlins are off to an 0-6 start to begin the year. Aaron, what are you liking so far from the NL, and who are you concerned about?
Well, I'd like to preface this by saying we wrote this before the Marlins game today. They're now down to 0-7.
Oh, poor Miami.
Goodness gracious, but I'm still holding out faith on the Phillies. We saw a good game from them. We know how it always is. They don't play baseball until June, and then all of a sudden everyone remembers what baseball is. The Pirates are interesting to me. They're 5-0 right now. we saw what happened last year. They got off to a really good start and then just kind of tapered off. But they have O'Neal Cruz back, and that's a huge spark plug for this team. Jared Jones, his MLB debut, he was spectacular. He had a fantastic spring training. I think you got that. You have Paul Skeens in the waiting. I mean, Mitch
insane.
Keller was an all-star last year, kind of tapered off in the second half. But, I mean, that trio of Keller, Skeens, and Jared Jones, that could be a really quiet, really good under-the-radar 1, 2, 3 right there.
Oh, my God, absolutely. The Pirates actually focused on building a winning team instead of sending all their big players to big markets.
I mean,
it's
not
incredible.
like they made a ton of great signings, but they're here.
We've gotten this far.
And they've got decent young guys, so we'll see what happens.
Sail on, I guess you say in
so.
Pirate talk. Brad, what do you think?
Ooh, I think the Pirates are not going to win the division, but I think they can have a wild card round. I think the Cubbies will still take it. I'm sorry.
Oh, wow, okay.
I know, very interesting point, but people are really overanalyzing 7 games. It's 162 season. What do you expect?
I really think the Brewers have the NL Central. That's gonna be the most competitive division, I feel, in all of the National League.
I feel like it's going to be competitive for the same reasons the AL Central is, because there's no one you can really pick out as the definite best team there.
The AL Central is the Guardians, though. What are you talking about?
I'm surprised. Going back to the Guardians real quick, I'm surprised they didn't open with Kyle Manzardo on
Honestly,
the team.
I don't know. Yeah, if it translates to wins at the end of the day, well, I'll take it.
I guess
I'll
so.
take it any day of the week, you know. Well, ending off with some WWE conversation, as Wrestlemania is this upcoming weekend, and there are a ton of exciting matchups we have to look forward to. With a 6-pack ladder match for the Tag Team Championship, the Uso brothers dueling it out, Becky Lynch looking to take the World Championship from Rhea Ripley, and The Rock and Roman Reigns, yes, The Rock and Roman Reigns looking to take down Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And that's only day one, with another action-packed day following. Brad, which matches are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, I am looking for the Rhea Ripley-Becky Lynch match, if I'm being honest. Rhea
one.
Ripley's reign has been good, but I think she lacks some good quality matches. I think Becky Lynch is the perfect wrestler to really elevate the title as much. It's a fun reign. I'm enjoying it. I think, everybody likes Rhea Ripley. I love Rhea Ripley.
Oh, absolutely. I love the entire Judgment Day and their whole thing so far, but it's not looking to be a good WrestleMania for them, because you have the tag team prepared to lose. You have Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee going up against Dom, and it's just going to be so interesting to see. I think Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch is going to be a good matchup. But how about The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins? That's going to be one of the craziest matchups I think I've ever seen.
I'm excited. I heard rumors Rock's Sabre hasn't been good, but hopefully he's been working out. Hopefully it'll be good. But either way, I'm excited. I think, especially with Seth Rollins being there on Cody Rhodes' side, it's just going to be such a fun match to watch.
It's going to be so good, dude. I'm so excited.
I was a little skeptical at first, a tag match for the main event, but honestly, I just get one up to it. The feud is crazy. It doesn't even feel like the PG era anymore.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a good WrestleMania. I think it's definitely going to be.
I might have to actually make my way out to Philadelphia around the stadium to go hang out. I don't know. It's gonna be an atmosphere, and that's the most important thing about this event. Aaron, what do you think?
I mean, that match with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, The Rock, that's going to be must-watch television, I think.
Oh, my God. I think that's
going to be peak. The Rhea Ripley match is also going to be great. Venessa, cover your ears. I also agree. I don't think her reign lasts here. It's going to be tough. It's going to be competitive, but I don't think it's going to last.
I don't know. Becky Lynch is a tough fight.
Yeah.
The man versus mommy, it's going to be a tough battle.
Yeah.
All right. But we gotta wish here at In the Zone. We hope for Cody Rhodes to finish his story against Roman Reigns and win that title for Dusty Rhodes this upcoming Sunday.
Please, I was so mad. I was watching that WrestleMania live last year.
I was so upset.
I was mad.
I was like, they messed up the ending. How'd they? I don't want to talk about it. We're looking forward to WrestleMania 40. The story will be finished. Yep. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of In the Zone. For Brad Wood, Aaron Chun, Payje Davis, and the entire In the Zone crew, I'm Owen Russell. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time right here on In the Zone. Have a good one.